But, yeah, right.
1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go. Council order.
Bob is here.
Sorry. It's
Okay.
You'll get here.
7 o'clock.
Beckwith,
Here.
Caldwell, Deal, absent, Parkapiti,
Here.
Katsinis, absent, Mimi,
Here.
Sheldon,
Here.
we have a quorum.
Okay, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The Warren Newport Public Library District provides the community with access to information, kindles the imagination of children and adults, and supports lifelong learning. Okay, Will, take it away.
Just a brief reminder, right down this aisle, to the left is the vending area, and then to the right is the washroom, and then to your next right is the exit. In case of an emergency, if you can leave a single file aisle, so the paramedics like you could do some work, that'd be great. Thank you, have a good meeting.
Thank you.
That's fine.
Okay, next is the consent agenda. Anybody have anything they want to take off?
I'd like to take out patrons. Please.
Anything else? Everyone got a minute? Hey, why don't we take a minute to read the exec session that we just got? Okay, is there a motion then on the consent?
I move we accept the consent agenda items A through G.
I'll second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any abstain? Nay? Okay. E.
It's really just a point of clarification for me that Ryan was on the very first one where we're talking about the vehicle that went out there for operating. And I think if I remember right, the last comment was that there was something that we were looking into, and this is actually the first time I've heard that, and so I just wanted to just add a little more commentary to that.
Sure, yeah, my understanding when I asked about this is that, I think this was maybe even after the building project was complete, so maybe 2011, 2012.
Yeah.
Yes.
It maybe they found out a year or two later that instead of air being pushed outward, somehow it was being pulled inward.
Is that what it was?
There was a setting that was incorrect, and since then, there are some, like temperature sensors that were not set correctly, so it's something they've been working to tweak.
So is this just like an ongoing type of?
It sounds like it, and I know that it seems like whether it's a modern facilities like ours or a older facility, getting the temperature right, during the year when the season is changing, like what's happening here when you went from extreme cold to extreme warm, it seems to be an issue. But that being said, we have a modern building, we should be able to get the temperature consistent, so we're still looking at that.
With regard to the air rushing in, my father-in-law is a heating and cooling engineer. He's 97, still at the top of his game.
Sure.
Anyway, he was the one who helped us figure out the problem in the first place, because all this air was rushing in, and the pressure inside the building has to be higher
Yeah.
than the air pressure outside the building. And there's a switch or something that has to be turned on.
Okay.
And not only was it not turned on, but it was broken, it was covered under the warranty, but still we were at 2 winters in polar vortex cold. So it is something that needs to be addressed at the beginning of every, and end of every season.
Well, I do know that, when the building was first new, that first winter, I was really disheartened at the temperature difference, but I had no idea that at that time there was anything wrong. So I know that since then, it's been changed and it was addressed. so that was all.
It is better, I think at the beginning, people were wearing coats and gloves at the serve desk who worked there.
Oh, yeah.
So it's better than that. There was a lot of discussion over whether we could time the doors differently and other solutions that have helped some, but I don't think it's perfect
Mhm.
yet.
Okay, that was all.
If you want to make a motion on that one then?
I'll make a motion that we accept the patron's suggestion for November 2015.
I'll second. Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained. Anyone want to pass their minutes down to Nancy? Okay, President's report. I have a written report on page 57. I have a couple other items that have happened since this. Well, one I forgot, which is that I wrote the letter to go inside the bonus. And I wanted to pass that around, and you can just keep it.
Okay, thank you.
And I have 2 copies of what
Oh,
I
okay,
just looked
great.
at too, so if you'd like to take one for free.
Just so you know that I did that. And I was going to write a thank you note to Steve Weinberg to thank him for being a citizen member of finance, but I think it would be great if Andrea would do it. Would you do it?
I'd be happy to
He was on your committee for obvious reasons. It would be great if he would do it. So I think I'd like to make a motion then that we authorize Andrea to write a thank you letter to Steve Weinberg for his tenure on finance committee. Any discussion? All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained.
So does, I do have a question, so should I sign and mail it or bring it back to the board?
You should sign it and mail it and bring it back to the board.
Okay,
We trust you to do it.
okay, thank you.
Okay, well, let's see, I think that's all I have to add for that. Other trustees, let's hear about Saturday.
Did an awesome job,
Yeah.
as the staff did. It was an excellent program. It was well attended.
I think it was a great program, you know. It was fun, he's a real character.
Yeah,
And Ryan had a little humor, and Kyle.
Yeah. I can pass around this, there's some pictures from Saturday's event.
anyone else? Nancy? George?
I'd just like to say that my daughter noticed the Finalist Cafe the library is hosting again this year, and I think it's being very well publicized at the high school, and it's a very good program that we're running.
Anyone else? Bob?
I have recently been shown our A to Z database, which I did not have any idea how that worked, but another patron showed me about it. And oh my goodness, so you can put in somebody's name, the town they live in, or what you know, and pops up their current address and phone number. And let me tell you, it took my Christmas card writing from, a ridiculous amount of time to very efficient, and I'm thrilled with that service.
Great. Yeah, it's great, it's great database.
It's scary, this what it is.
It is, it is.
Okay, let's see, correspondence. So here are some cards, thank you cards from the staff for bonus. And also, where is that? I received a letter in my, at the library, it was in my envelope. And it is from an accounting firm. I'm gonna give you this original, and maybe, I made an extra copy for Doug.
Okay.
And
great,
then
thanks.
Andrea, I thought you should have that too. It's from a person just inquiring whether we are changing auditors and so on. It's above my pay grade. So, anyway, any others? That covers correspondence?
Yes, that's all.
Okay, public comment? No public comment. Hassan. I think the reports of the committees, committee of the holes in the packet, and the art one, I think, is at places. I saw the pink paper. Director's report.
I have a couple of things I would like to mention that are in the report, if I may. I think all of you received the Illinois Library Association email blast, and if you missed it, December 7th, a bill was passed, the Governor Ratter signed, to appropriate a little more than half of the proposed budget for fiscal 2016 library grants, so that includes a per capita grant. We're still waiting for half of that grant though, because my understanding is half of it come from live and learn funds, which are collected for specific purposes and segregated from general revenues. So the good news is, it looks like we'll at least have half of our per capita grant funding. The bad news is the other half remains to be seen. And we continue to hear that when they decide to sit down and compromise on the budget, what probably will happen is that the idea to freeze local property taxes will be something that they will want to do, at least for a few years. That remains to be seen, but that's the kind of indications right now. So that's the update from Springfield. So a little good news. I also wanted to clarify, it came to my attention that I discussed that we were doing staff evaluations, and maybe that wasn't very clear in what that entailed. Just as a reminder, everyone gets evaluated. The full 34 full-time staff, 67 part-time, so it's a lot of evaluations. Personally, I do 8 evaluations, and I'm involved in reviewing several others. And we take a lot of time because they're important. We're reviewing accomplishments, areas for improvement, reviewing the goals set in the previous year, and setting new goals for the upcoming year. So it's pretty time intensive. So just to clarify what that means. And just a friendly reminder, if you're sending, and this almost always, people are very good about this, but if you're ever sending me a report or something, if you could copy Gina on that email correspondence, that's very helpful. So thank you for that. Any questions or anything else that's in the report?
I just wanted to say, I like that you said we had a fleet of 2 vehicles.
Technically, a fleet is 5.
I like that.
Oh, really? We have some work to do then.
Well, according to the IRS's rules.
Okay, anything else any other questions on director's report? Okay, all these old business things are you, and you, so. we can
All
go.
right. Great, well, I'm going to switch spaces if you don't mind to do the next. So, do we want to look at an update of the color scheme first, or for the tween space, or do we want to look at the budget first?
Go Twain.
Let's see the pretty pictures before we know how much they are.
Yeah, sounds good. So I brought the board from the last meeting as a reminder of what we were looking at, and there was a lot of discussion that people had various opinions about the color scheme. There was the opinion that there was too much purple, green, and gold. So there are 4 different designs, a couple of which we didn't like. So coming back, we really like these 2. This is still a lot heavy on purple, green, and gold. And so the next picture, it's very similar, but it replaces the purple with the orange, which I kind of like because it ties some of the orange in. It's a little more bold for that space. So that's in terms of the staff's opinion, we like this one the best. So I'd like your feedback. I'm kind of thinking you probably will too, since this is still purple, green, gold, but.
I like the purple.
As long as there's the blue with it, and
Yeah.
the purple, green, and gold are the way they were, there isn't a problem.
I'm fine with either one,
They both look good.
Except the orange in the other chairs and the stools. There isn't picked up in the, without the orange. Go back one more.
Yeah.
please. I go orange.
yeah, because then the only orange is the stool, is the chairs.
Yeah, I think I like the orange better.
It's a bigger pop.
Yeah.
And then, let me pass this around. We liked this kind of fabric cover And the one that we like that's in the images is not available, but this one is. It's pretty similar.
Is that the actual fabric or just colorful colors?
I think it's actual fabric.
So then definitely the orange.
That is very loud.
It's loud.
It's very tween.
You know, when you're our age, less is more. When you're tween, more is more.
Yeah. How water resistant is this for spills and why?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons we like it, because it is designed to withstand the heavies.
Do we have the material, safety data sheets on all this material that we're bringing in?
We could probably get it. I don't have it with me tonight, no.
Well, I think we should see it, to make sure that it's a viable product.
Yeah, I mean, my understanding is that all the stuff
Could you
that.
repeat the question?
The question is do we have the material safety data sheets on these materials that are being brought in?
Yeah, all the stuff that Tiffany's showing us, this is stuff that, is has to be rated to meet code for fire and everything. You can't, so all that stuff has been looked at. I can see what information she can provide.
You might get some families asking because of allergens or what have you.
Sure,
So
yeah.
It's worth having on file at least.
Yeah. Let's switch back to my other sheet for a second. Let me write that down in my notes.
Does everybody here know what an MSDS is?
Yes.
Okay.
Joe, in here, there's a reimbursement to Tom's wife, so you can sign it right at the top.
Okay, so that's the major update in terms of I think the follow-up from last time in terms of the color scheme. So do we want to look at the budget?
Is that the yellow?
That's the yellow sheet.
Okay.
And you can see that there are some things that initially we wanted to do that have been pulled out. Those are highlighted. We had talked about doing something on the ceiling that's been pulled out. Signage allowance, and then there was a touch it screen, and this touch it is interesting because it's almost, think of it as like a giant iPad on the wall. It's interactive, and you can put games on it or also educational apps as well. But that's not something we were able to afford with our budget for the project. So.
Out of curiosity, because there are other technologies that do the same thing. Something like an Eno board, for example, would be a lot cheaper. Is that something that you looked at to do the same basic capability?
I don't think we have, and I think, and that's one of the things I talked about, George, when we looked at this. I thought to myself, we don't have the money for this right now anyway, and the next couple of years, if we're able to come up with the money, what technology is going to be out there. So I personally haven't dedicated a lot of time looking at the alternatives, nor has Noreen or Diana, I don't think.
Well, I think that, and we did have Kevin looked at them, so I know there's a range, but we're gonna have it stubbed in, but at this time, we just didn't. But we'll look at that one, George.
Do you have the scheme on your computer still?
One of the things that you should.
Right. Is that any place you can lay out again?
Unfortunately, I don't have it in this slideshow, but it's, I can pass this around. It's kind of hard to pass around, but we can do
Or
it.
just hold it up, so I can kind of figure.
Sorry.
Better said. $600 for
Sure.
each computer.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I should have thought to print it again.
$1,500 for a TV set.
Any questions, comments, concerns, or if I can answer questions, something to take back? I mean, it's very heavy on on furniture, obviously.
One question I'll ask about the paint, because this is right in the middle of the library space. Are we using a zero VOC paint?
I'm not sure.
Again, the MSDS will tell us that.
So what, this is right now, it's at an expected expense of 87 for the tween space, 87,000, what
Fine,
is
what's the final?
89,104. And what was budgeted for this?
No, I think this is,
Budget was 93.
yeah, I think it was 83, but then we have the money from the Friends, which I don't believe we've incorporated into this.
So what's the
And how
final?
much was that?
I should know this.
Was it more than
I think it,
$6,000?
yes,
Yes.
yeah, it was, I think it was like 12.5.
Okay, so with the Friends, we're still within budget.
So the final quote is 89,104, and that excludes the grade.
That's correct. And this, this is still, we have estimates here as well, so it's still not an exact budget, but
So product A and D, what does that stand for? Second from the bottom line.
55.
that's architectural
company.
design, the company.
Thank you. So that's how much they're charging for their
Yeah,
services.
it's up here, it says architectural fee. and
Okay, got it.
Yeah, no, that's a good question, though, it's not consistent.
And so what signage, because the signage is pulled out up above, but then in the final quote it's there?
So, one of the things that, that changed that we've made since the presentation last time, and I don't have any images of this unfortunately, because it's a relatively new thing, was the idea when you come into this space, to put a sign hanging over it that says "The Point." Not unlike the signage you see throughout the library that indicates different collections. So that would be here approximately. And I don't have an image of what that looks like. I can get that done and sent out.
Coming
Because
down.
we felt that looking at the space, that we still wanted something to distinguish that this was the point for tweens, and that's something we're still missing without any kind of sign. So it's not as an elaborate a sign I think we were thinking about before, but
Is it coming from the ceiling?
yeah, you know where so when you look at the tween space, there's a security camera that sticks down,
Okay.
which we are able to move up. The reason that camera lies so low is the way Kevin explained it to me, there were lights that would block it, so we had to get an extension to extend it down. We can put that security camera back up and then put the sign in there. So it's level with the other signs that we have, so it's consistent with what's already in the building. I mean, it won't look exactly like the signs, but that's the idea. I don't even think have we even conceptualized what that sign's going to look like exactly?
No,
We're
we
not
just
even
wanted
there yet,
to
are we?
look funkier than the
Yeah.
other ones, and then about the painting line, the poles.
Yeah, the other thing that we have thought about is painting, if you look on the picture that's on the screen, those poles to, whether it be, I don't think we've ever, this is still, we're just discussing it, because we feel that still there's something missing in terms of if you're looking from a distance, if you're looking at like the point up close, okay, but if you're from a distance,
You don't
what's
want
gonna
it
pull
there.
you
Yeah,
in
you won't
and to
want it
distinguish
there.
it as a tween space?
So are we confident on the name of the point, or are we considering possibly having a contest for the kids to name it themselves?
I think we're confident on the name of the point.
If you look at the design, it looks like the name of the point.
It is very pointy.
Look at the carpet, it was incorporated into an arrow, the point.
Can we put the name up on where the windows are in the space between the top set of windows and the bottom?
He's talking about putting a sign.
And we had, well, that's a good question. We had talked about that, and we saw some renderings of that, and we just felt it didn't look right. So, because we thought initially, oh, that's a good idea, if we put the point up there, that'll be good. But when we looked at it, it just
And those light fixtures, Bob, the ones that are the long, narrow ones, kind of block that. You don't really see that from a distance. You wouldn't see it as well, because we were thinking along the same lines. But then when we locked
Yeah,
it
when we
out
went to the
there,
live, it was, yeah.
Are we looking to, speaking of those lights, are we looking to change those over to LED, or are they already there?
I am not sure what those lights are.
Those lights were put in at the last construction. Those are relatively new lights, since 2011. But I don't think in this proposal, there's no change in lighting.
No,
So those are what, T8 on or T8 fluorescents?
It's all fluorescent. Even the round donut ones, those are all fluorescent.
Looks good.
Everything looks great.
What's our timeline?
We are still set for spring of 2016. I don't think I think we're still to the point where we need to sit down and map out a timeline at this point. But we've pretty much mapped out the concept at this point, so now it's just a matter of this is probably the easy work, the hard work in terms of figuring out the timeline in terms of how that's going to impact services.
By spring, you mean basically we're talking April, May?
Yeah.
How disruptive is the process gonna be? Are we gonna have a lot of shelving moving places as we do this?
Yeah. Yeah, because this project involves, we're taking out some shelving. So it's a pretty intensive project, but we've talked about it. We're not going to, there may be times where the space is roped off, but we're not, we're still going to be open business as usual, right? You want to?
probably the main thing, timing, will be the carpeting. Because we're gonna have the shelving all done. We're gonna do that in-house. We can actually start some of that when we get back after the holidays. But mainly it'll be when they do the carpeting. And what did you say? That'd be like a 2-day job probably?
Yeah, that's right.
That's pretty open space too, so.
Yeah.
it's-
We'll just, and it goes right up the middle into the
Yeah.
point, so we can leave the other
We're just cording it
collection
off,
off.
as we've done
a little
before.
collection open, yeah.
There's really no demoing or dust or anything like that, so it won't be too interesting.
Are we gonna lose any parking for the construction period?
I imagine we would. At least
I'm sorry,
we don't-
Bob, are we gonna lose any what?
Parking
Parking.
spacing?
Oh,
Yeah, I think anytime we have any
Workers.
contractors are doing a job, you always lose spots, unfortunately. I don't think though that, I think we're gonna plan, right now we're gonna plan to avoid any major library events, obviously. So if there's something where, like huge authors come in, we're gonna, try to plan a project during these big library events. That's where, when we experience the major parking issues, not that it can't happen at a normal period of day, but, my observation is when we have a big event, we have a lot of people who went to the event, that's when we have our biggest problems.
anything else? Okay, staff.
Staff room. So let's look at the pictures first, and we'll talk about the budget and ways that we talked about trying to lower the budget as well. So I just have a few images here, and this, the bottom image is the floor plan, obviously. And I think the major change is to the, where it says islands, because right now, if you go into the staff room, and you were to take a right and go to the kitchen, you're stuck in the kitchen. There's no way out other than the way you came in. So that's really going to open up the space. For different events, we have a need for more counter space, so that's incorporated into this here. And we're shifting some things around. There's a desk that staff use often with a computer. That's going to get shifted to the left. A lot of shelving, a lot of storage. And this is the working color scheme. It's obviously it's pretty bold with the red. And when we go to the next slide, you'll see that a little bit better in terms of what the countertop surface is going to look like. The cabinets are going to look like. We like the idea of square tables because right now we have round tables, and if there's a group of people that want to get together and have lunch, and that's not possible. very well with the round tables. I've tried it, it doesn't work very well. So with the square tables, that allows us to put the tables together. It gives us some flexibility for the space. Also, right now for staff, if they want to sit down in a comfy chair, we have this rocker that is maybe 30 years old that's falling apart. We have some, kind of library furniture that was old, we didn't know where else to put it, that's in there. So the idea is to replace that with a sofa. And I think we're looking at a sofa, the feasibility of a sofa that maybe also turns into like a lazy boy at the end.
Like your bed.
Yeah, but we don't want, if someone's sick, we don't want them to say, I'm going to take a half hour and sleep and go back to work. We want them to go home. But if someone wants to take a power nap during their break, or just, if they have a headache and lay there for a few minutes, that's fine. So, and then the surface is being replaced from, the hard floor in the kitchen, and then the carpet in the lounge area to a hard surface. So we talked a lot about that. There was a concept where you had a hard surface and kind of blended in with this really funky carpet, which was fun. But when we talked about it from the perspective of maintaining it, keeping it clean, it just wasn't practical. So
Are we talking laminate or engineered or hardwood?
it's like a it's like an engineered hardwood type of thing, where it's not, it looks like it, and it's easy to clean. I think it's like it is made of laminate, but it looks like hardwood.
But I think it's
Yeah.
an engineer.
It's an engineered
Engineered, yeah.
Floating.
flooring.
It's
It looks,
good.
it looks just like wood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got even a texture of a wood,
Yeah.
but it's actually engineered flooring.
Where
That might
are
be my next-
microwaves?
That's what I was wondering.
It said microwave.
It says we have them, but where are they going?
One will sit on the counter.
Yeah, we have one that is I don't know the origin of this microwave, but it's pretty new, and it's in there. So there's one, and then there will be one installed. Probably,
Want to go right over here?
yeah, where next to
Where it
the
is.
fridge, I think. Yeah, although it's not in
Where the
the
one is now.
concept.
Yeah, I think we think so, but,
Where's the generator at?
The
Backup, standby generator.
outside of
Right
the.
outside the first
Where,
one.
so I can get an idea where I'm at.
It's that first
I
one.
got it.
It's outside that first window.
Oh, okay.
Okay. No, the staff entrance is actually right around here.
Why wouldn't there be a microwave installed on the stove?
I think because of the range above for exhaust. I mean, I'm not sure it's a good
You can
question.
do a combination microwave range.
Oh, you can?
Yeah. Is that
Unless you need the extra storage, I
I'm
think.
just thinking over the stove, microwave is no more, then it vents through that.
It costs a little bit more than individual units, but only a
And
little
your
bit more.
counter space, it makes so much
Are we
nicer.
gunning to the roof, or are we researching?
That I don't know.
I'll ask about it. It's a good observation.
I think it gives the opportunity for a buffet to go on either side, because
That's
the
nice. Yeah, that's
and
nice.
half. So that's good.
Yeah.
Where's the garbage?
You know,
Plan the garbage?
That's a good question. There is a big black garbage can now, and I think there's some debate on what to do about that. I am in the camp that I would like to try to maybe get rid of it and put it in, but I guess it's pretty new, and some pushback against that. So, with
Well, it's not
staff,
just,
so.
it's not just one, though. You have recyclables, you have, there's actually 3 garbage. There's true garbage, and then there's recyclables, so there's actually 2 others.
So where do they go?
That
Right
has been
back?
planned into the
They're
space.
Oh, unless
in
one
front of the
screens.
fridge, I think. along
Yeah,
that
there's
side.
one like right here. Sorry.
Or on the
And then
other side?
there's another one. I think there's another one right there.
Are there gonna be any microwaves counter height for use by people with
Yes.
disabilities?
Well, but if the one that's above the counter now goes there, and the other one goes above the stove, then there won't be.
No, you just get the one above the stove, wouldn't go over where the other one is then. In other words, Kevin's just telling me that fan over the stove, she needs to know that doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, the ventilation changed when we redid the construction, so the vent hood is over the current stove, which is the original arrangement. Doesn't really vent out anywhere. It's just like you'd have in your home if you didn't have to vent out, it just vents into the back of the kitchen. there's no, it doesn't actually vent out. So you could put in a microwave where that vent hood is, and then put another microwave in where, for 88 purposes down below.
So instead of isn't that other one by the refrigerator up now?
Yes,
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
so you would
underneath.
just put that one on the counter? You could?
yes.
You could, I mean, you can, they're versatile, you can get them however we need them.
Can I ask, all that stuff of the staff association that's under that counter, those boxes and all that, is there adequate storage
Yes.
in here for them to put their stuff? 'Cause-
There's a ton of storage in this
Okay.
design. Yeah, I mean, this is all, whoops. So this is all storage. I think that comes out, I think it was only 12, we bumped it up to 16, I might even still say 12 on here.
Remember how we did
But
bump it up?
we bumped it up, I don't know that this is accurate.
She
So
said
I
that
think-
the stuff under the island is gonna be real deep storage.
Yeah, so in fact, we're gonna have more storage now, or with this than we do now, and we don't even necessarily utilize all the storage we have now. Maybe even too much storage, but you never can have too much storage, we know. And we're wanting to get some of the stuff out. If you go into the staff lounge, there's still going to be some, you can see the picture above the desk, there's a board, cork board to pin things. And we've talked about having those between the windows and their side as well. But we'd like to move some of the clutter out into the hallways as you enter the building. It's just because if you go in there, there's a lot of clutter. There's some, the green team, they've got some things about, which is great information, but it doesn't necessarily belong in that staff space. So we'd like to find a new home for it.
What size microwave?
I don't know that we determined the specs on the appliances yet.
I take it there will be outlets on the island?
There currently are now.
Yes.
So
So
just,
they would remain. They wouldn't demo when you're looking at that image from the south side of the island, if you looked at the bottom part of that island, that's currently a wall, floor to ceiling. It's an edge wall. Yeah, right there.
Oh, okay.
There's power in that, plus the light switches are in there as well, so that will remain. They won't demo that.
Is it possible to run, to get power to the other end? Because I'm just thinking, when we've done staff appreciation meals, and we have,
Right.
4 or 5 crock pots and a coffee station someplace that, there's a lot of outlets. I mean, there are these outlets that can push down and pop up, so they wouldn't be in the way during other things, but if they put the conduit from the wall through the counter and add outlets at the other end or in the middle, that might make this space more usable.
I was
Yeah.
planning on having that put in when we were talking about this many moons ago. And that was one of the things that we had come up with, so that you're not stretching extension cords as we've done in the past and things like that. So, yeah, there'll be some kind of electric incorporated.
Is that gonna be, will that be the countertop, will that be separate circuit? So if they want hot pots or something, plug it in?
That's what we're talking about, is being able to have that there so that
You
they.
could even.
Separate circuits though, I mean, so that we're not.
Well, it'd be circuited
Okay.
properly.
I like this design because you can have 2 buffets through the island and then a third on the back counter, like a dessert buffet or something. I'm all about the buffet.
So just to talk about what this stuff looks like in terms of the upper cabinets, lower cabinets. There are 2 options for countertops. One is much cheaper than the other. If you look at the budget, you'll see upgraded countertop is an additional $7,000. So it's expensive. We have some ideas of maybe bring the cost down where we could afford that, but maybe not. So both of those options are there. And this material, it was a. I can't even think what it was called. It was like this repurposed material with glass and concrete in it.
It's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
The picture doesn't do it justice, which is the upgraded. And once again, it's a green product because it's basically recycled material. So
So what are your 2 options?
in terms of the counter, you've got this.
Yeah.
It's like
This-
Well, what are they actually made of is my question.
Well, this is just a laminate, and then this is
Okay.
this. I think she called it like.
It's not
sandstone or-
quartz and it's
Yeah.
not, it's something.
I never
I've
heard of it.
heard before.
Is it cast counter
No, I don't think.
and
So
then
recycled
polished
glass
out?
counter you're looking at?
Probably,
Like Corian is,
yeah,
Yeah.
is a molded product.
yeah.
Is that what this counter is then?
Yeah,
So we don't have.
I'll get the
Yeah,
exact.
I haven't seen it, but I would imagine it'd have to be if it was some kind of, if it's manufactured, it's gotta be some kind of.
And Tiffany, by the way, has offered to come to the, she couldn't be here this evening, and this is still, there's still a lot of decisions need to be on this project, but she is tentatively planning on coming back to the January board meeting, so, but I'll get these questions answered in the meantime, and.
My question is, what is the lifespan equivalent for the two counter materials? So if we pay more now, how?
I think that because we asked her, I mean, she said, she didn't really give us a real answer, she said this stuff will last forever. Whereas, the laminate countertops, how long do laminate countertops last?
Laminate. I don't think laminate's the way to go. You pay now or you pay later. Later's always more expensive.
Yeah, no, we agree, it's, it comes down to the budget, what we can afford.
And we stage it.
No? Well, I stage it though, because you have to have
We
a.
can't really state
Yeah.
it, but.
Yeah,
But can we
That won't-
trim
the donors
costs
won't
possibly on the cabinet finishes to get the better countertop is the other question. Because you're looking at, are these upgraded cabinet finishes we're looking at, are there cheaper options that we could shave money there to put towards the countertops?
No, these are not,
These are not real upgrades.
no, these are not real.
Still the
yeah,
cheap
it's-
stuff?
Yeah. It looks nice, but it's not,
Okay.
can I just ask about the refrigerator? It says refrigerator, and does it
It's
supposed to be
it's two, it should be two,
Okay.
yeah.
And these are commercial grade.
Yes. So we would, go ahead.
Ice maker included inside there?
I would think so, but in terms of, but we haven't gotten into the details of the appliances though. But yeah,
What was your
we would ask for that, yeah.
Ice maker.
Oh,
Yeah, because she knows we already had that, Bob, so she wouldn't take us back a step.
I didn't know we had one.
Oh, yeah, we have ice makers too.
Ooh, works for me.
What about drinking water? Does anyone in this plan include
I don't-
RO filtered water? People can refill their water bottles?
Not that we've discussed, but it's an interesting idea.
They actually, we have 2 water fountains right outside of the staff lounge.
The
That's
water
where-
fountains are great, but I'm talking about something where you could fill
But it's
your
not
water
filtered.
bottle. Yeah.
I have a question.
I like that.
This totals 83,623. We budgeted 60,000, which includes, we expect to spend 30. We budgeted 60 because it would, the donations don't come through, and we expect to spend 30 with the donations matching another 30. And I'm looking at 83,000 right here.
It's over budget. I think though that we budgeted 40,
40.
and then the donors are gonna match 40, yeah. But it's over budget, right? And that's what I'm gonna talk about. So when we saw this, we said, well, this is over budget. And we ideally, we told Tiffany, we wanna spend, ideally less. So in terms of bringing this budget down, we talked about, okay, well, what can we do in-house? So we talked about, well, can we do demolition in-house? Kevin and I talked about that. There's some, liability issues there, other concerns. Paint, we could do our own. And I have an unanswered question from Tiffany, because some of these numbers we looked at, when Kevin looked at this, he thought some of these numbers seemed kind of high in terms of,
She said they probably all come down.
yeah. So it's certainly something that we need to work on to get the budget down.
What's the contingency installed, then it doesn't show up, what is that? At the very bottom,
Oh,
17,
Percent, I assume, or no, that doesn't-
it might, I don't know what I will have to ask about that install 17. But I know that if you see above the construction total, what would that's a good question, I'm not sure, Sue, I'll find out.
Clearly, the upgraded countertop is out. I do have a concern about such a light colored countertop, because it'll show every stain and,
But it actually has it's called what is it called, the dog
The
bone?
upgrade.
And it has this pattern in it.
Should be.
For a light color, it really, of the one she showed us, it's pretty good.
actually, it looks like quartz stuff down the street. I mean, that's not quartz, but if it's
Upgraded counter.
something
I think
like
she was
that.
asking about the laminate one.
Oh,
I'm talking about the one that's in the budget.
the one that we just poured.
I'm not talking about the one that,
Yeah.
Please,
that
no.
if we had our homes.
It just looks like what's in there, doesn't
I
it?
mean, obviously, the.
It doesn't matter if it looks like what's in there.
nicer.
Well,
It's
just
a lot
change the
longer, right?
color.
Yeah.
We have to get a light.
I would think that a darker color
What you
would
see.
be easier.
I just wanna make sure we don't have to pay more later.
No.
Yeah, you're right.
And it's just like the, it's
I've
just
been
like the
there
surface,
with my
it's
own
just
life.
like, it's just.
In my house, I have black Corian.
Yeah. No, not the upgraded. No, it's all the way through, all the way through, yeah. It's like this thick.
I did take a knife cut.
Probably out of our budget.
Correct,
No,
yeah.
but I'm just saying the color.
That should be at the top.
Color, a different color laminate doesn't change the budget.
Right.
Except
Yeah.
for laminate, when you scratch it, if it's black.
Yeah, that's
it's
gonna-
Black
That's the one.
inside,
Yep.
so that's kind of
Yeah, I
bad.
would put that, main, we have to get rid of
They
it.
make a laminate, looks like granite now.
They make laminates that look like everything, but
Yeah,
they're still
yeah.
laminate.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
And the reason laminate costs less, then.
Yeah.
Well, the reason is you replace it more often. Question is, does it cost less in the long run?
If you take care of it, I have, in my old kitchen, there's a laminate countertop that's 50 years old.
So,
The, I mean, the upgraded counter, like Corian, if it gets cut, you can remove that cut.
Yeah,
The
we-
upgraded counter.
I understand that.
You can
But
get rid of
We
that.
do
cut.
not, we budgeted a certain amount for this. We cannot afford the $7,000. We set a budget at a total. And if you want to spend $7,000 for an upgraded countertop, then don't upgrade the refrigerators. Keep, what have we got for refrigerators?
Find other places to make cuts.
Yeah.
yeah, and this is, once again, the initial budget, you know, obviously, the board wanted to see where we were at, and we admittedly have work to do. I mean, we're gonna do it, we're gonna see where we can, you know, save money painting, you know, see what we can do. So this is just the initial look, and like, Andrea, you're right, and we're over budget, we gotta work on
I
it.
mean, clearly, when we budgeted $60,000 for this project, we did not include, we were not thinking it would have granite countertops.
And different iterations of this project too, if you recall, you know, this is like everything, you know, this is, well, I mean, we're not doing the lighting or ceiling again, or certain elements, but this is you know, we're touching the floors, we're touching the kitchen, we're touching all that, and different, you know, versions of this, we were only doing segments, so.
Is
This
the
is
plumbing
still-
staying in the same place?
Like,
Because it costs a lot of money to move plumbing.
It's the
No,
same.
no.
It's-
All the appliances are staying where they're at, so the stove stays, the sink stays. There's,
Okay.
it is the
there's,
same place.
there's very minimal plumbing. I mean, all they're doing is changing out the sink and replacing it.
Appliances, are the refrigerators, or refrigerators, whatever we have, the stove.
I think it's
Are they
still
functional
around,
right
so.
now?
Yes, but like the dishwashers.
Yeah, you can see, if you look at the
They're 20
picture,
years old.
It's in the 20 years old,
You can get a-
dishwasher.
there's a sink,
So
there's a
there's no
dishwasher.
cost savings by putting it back where it was, because it is where it was.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
That
not
was
like
my-
a-
Okay, we don't, that's right, but if they're functional
Well,
now, we
they'll
could
figure
say,
it out.
all right, we don't.
But, I mean, you know, like I said, we're gonna keep working on it. I mean, there are things
You know what
that,
I'm saying?
you
To
know,
the same degree though, you're doing all this work.
you know, maybe take out a sofa, and say just.
Yeah, take out the sofa.
I
Where's the
understand.
bulletin boards going? I assume one over the desk.
That
There's one over the,
should be,
there's one over the desk here, and then like over here.
Okay.
Why are they $700 a piece?
Yeah, that seems a little,
They are actually higher than that. 1,400 is what those a piece.
well, they're,
what's that?
Oh, $1,400 a piece.
oh, come on.
Why are they $1,400 a piece?
For the
I
table?
Oh, yeah.
no $1,400 for the bulletin board.
The one on the wall on this side is very large, it's gonna be like 3 different colors. That is obviously kind of a high figure, because we've had them, but they're not like a bulletin board that you buy.
Yeah,
More of a
the-
tack one.
the bulletin boards and the dry erase boards that we have, they're pricey, but they're
Not
solidly
that
built.
price, yeah.
You gotta figure out where to cut $3,623 from here, so.
Yeah, look,
At least,
Do
yeah.
something.
And I, you know, also,
Contingency.
I'm meeting with our donors tomorrow, that they haven't had an opportunity to look at this, and I know they were hoping to, you
Come in lower.
know, come in lower, so I, you know, hear their feedback too, what they think. So,
okay, can we move on?
Has staff reviewed the color combinations?
What's that?
Well, I mean,
Has staff kind of
we
reviewed the colors?
we can spend
at
as
all?
much. and
Not all
this is
staff, no.
what's proposed.
Some?
Noreen, did you dress to match the kitchen?
No, we were looking, we just,
I mean, the
this
we
isn't
have
in
80,000
stone
budget.
yet. For the
So
the
we're
colors, it was the only
already
ones that kind of
30s.
popped because we're going with, I mean, if you look at this one over
I
here,
didn't imagine to do it less.
but this is gonna be a little.
Well,
Well, you know, and Tiffany, if you go back and say Tiffany, we have.
Right.
She knows.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
She knows.
yeah, and I just wanted to show you where we're at right now. I knew that I wasn't coming in asking for another $3,600. I was just showing you where we're at.
She'll fix it.
Okay, let's go on. All right,
Oh, fine, okay.
you're still on.
So I just wanted to give an update on the ad hoc committee. First of all, as you might imagine, Diana Vickery is just excellent to work with, very organized. So we have 3 commitments to the ad hoc committee. First of all, oh, for fundraising. This, just to refresh our memories, the goal of this committee is to get together and help us decide what our next step should be in terms of whether should we establish a foundation for fundraising, should we establish a development arm under the Friends Group. So we have 3 individuals. Teresa Hall-Eggles, she is the executive director of a nonprofit called Gateway for Cancer Research, and she's also on the board of directors for the Cancer Treatment Center of America. So she has tremendous expertise in this area. We have Mayor Christy Kovarik, as you all know, the mayor of the village of Kearney. And we have a gentleman named Michael Farrell. He is on the board of directors of the Zacharias Center, and he also runs a big HR firm. So the strategy so far was we collected information from all of you, from a number of people, and we identified people, like ideally we'd like to serve on this board. And we kind of organized people based on different expertise that they offer, different experiences that they have. And we've started to ask people individually. Now we're working with this ad hoc committee to expand the committee, and we're actively approaching other people. I think we've had a pretty good success rate. We have had a few people that turned us down, but so far so good. So this committee should be formed in January, and we should still be on track to have them meet in February. So it's going really well, and I appreciate your feedback and the names you provided. So thank you for that. So far so good.
Very promising.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great core of individuals that we have, and the skills that they bring, so it's very exciting.
Disaster plan.
Are there any questions about the disaster plan since?
Thank you to Kevin. Thank you, Kevin.
Oh, thanks for your input, it was helpful, thank you.
You're welcome.
I just double checked, my phone numbers are not correct. So, are we double checking information like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have, it's page 90, list of staff chief personnel, Tom, 124.
I don't know where these numbers come from, at least for my contract, but I don't recognize any of them.
It's not a good sign.
No, not any, that's the reason I was thinking,
Tom, can you do me a favor and just write down,
I'll put it to
give them
Jan.
to Jan, yeah, that'd be great, thanks.
So the question is that I'm just wondering if anything got shifted as far as
There's a template or
So
something, yeah.
those should be
like
logged
that.
somewhere else.
you know,
Those are some
so is
notes.
everybody else kind of look at it? or-
Yeah, if you could verify your numbers. We're looking at staff and their numbers seem correct.
Is this plan on the library site?
It will be when it's part of the board packet, so it is on there now, but it will be formally.
Do we really want to post the layout on the site?
Well,
And it's something that's, it's foible anyway. I mean,
Right, but I mean, this has a lot of people, you know, people's home phone numbers and stuff too.
There should be intrusion.
Yeah, this wasn't intended to be exposed to the public
Say that?
originally, I don't think.
It's not intended to be on the public website, it would be available to the people that it needs to be available to, so it would be on your board site, accessible through there. But this is not something that's necessarily accessible to the public from our main website.
Okay.
But it is foible.
It's, yeah, sure, certainly.
But it's also part of our board packet tonight, so it's on the website.
Okay.
Pull that back, all right.
Yeah, we should include it.
Well, this is our third time it's been in the packet. I mean, we've had, isn't that right? We've had 2 chances to edit prior to tonight.
Yes,
Okay,
correct.
Yeah.
I move we approve the 2015 WMPL disaster plan RV6 as corrected.
That's correct.
I second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain.
Same.
1 abstention.
can I say one thing? Yeah. No, just in the cover memo, like I said, admittedly, this plan is still a work in progress, and it's something we're gonna review on a regular basis. For example, the salvage priorities is very bare bones right now. It's something I certainly want to beef up. So when you go, and we basically took our old plan and kind of started from scratch. It's not like we built on what existed previously. So this has been a great deal of work, and still, there's work to do, and we know that. So, but I appreciate Kevin doing a great job, and all the staff that helped out on this, and thank you for your feedback.
Just from the first edition to this was a lot of tremendous improvement in my opinion. Okay, new business, per capita grant. That's you too.
Yeah, I suppose it is. No, not at all. The memo on page 228, the major requirement for us is to have a discussion on the chapter 5 of Technology Survey Republic 3.0 Standards for Illinois Public Libraries 2014. And if you look at the application, I took the liberty of starting to fill that in on our discussion this evening, but we obviously certainly can edit the discussion. Looking at the standards, we're pretty solid. The two notable areas that we don't meet the standards, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but reviewing the, I lost my spot, I'm sorry. Oh, thank you. Yeah, the Internet Acceptable Use Policy is renewed annually. I was looking at the dates we've reviewed that policy, and it doesn't look like it's quite done on an annual basis. So I guess my recommendation to the board would be for us to, for the board to incorporate that in their timeline.
Can we get that done? When was the last time it was done? Was it less than a year?
2013, I checked this afternoon.
Can we get
I
that
think it
on
was
the
2013.
policy agenda ASAP so we're in compliance with this?
I don't have an objection to that. I looked through it, there's not much in the way of editing that it needs.
We just review it.
So we'll put that on the agenda for committee of the whole, and
The only thing we really need to add to it is that this policy will be reviewed annually.
great.
And then the other area, if you look at page 232, the last one, the library applies for E-grade discounts as available for the schools and libraries program of the Universal Service Fund. And these are kind of controversial. I think the board has discussed E-rate before. And most places that I've been, we haven't pursued E-rate because our concerns with the filtering requirements they put on these discounts. Yes, you can get discounts, but there's major filtering attached. Also, there's a lot of staff time involved for the discounts. I think for certain libraries that this is a good thing to do. And as I put in the per capita grant, I think we should certainly explore it again, because my understanding is the program has changed since certainly I was look at it, since the Warren Public Libraries looked at it. But I have to be honest, I have some concerns about E-rate because of the filtering.
think we should at least look at it, see if that's still a requirement and what filtering requirements there would be. I think that would be a deal breaker for us, honestly. But let's see if that's still one of the requirements of the system for public libraries, not just school libraries.
Or is it possible to just filter, and I know how different people feel differently about this, in youth areas, and no filters in the adult areas?
We already have filters in the
That's the way it is now.
That's what it is.
That is the way it is?
Yes.
I,
Maybe there's a way to comply with it with regard to that.
yeah, we need to look at it, because I know the program has changed recently, and I don't think any of us know enough about it, so that's my recommendation, is for us to explore the feasibility and see what the program entails, how much work is involved.
Don't you think it's possible that the way that we're doing it is compliant?
In terms of,
It
But we don't
meets the
E-rate.
requirements of the, yeah.
At the E-rate?
well, I mean,
No,
It has to be everywhere?
We don't, but
But
we're
it
getting.
did, it did.
I know, but, yeah.
So it says we should
change
apply
for everybody would change.
So you should consider it.
yeah, it says, yeah, and these are, kind of, best practices, I would say, is my understanding of this serving our public, the standards for public libraries. I don't think we're breaking the law.
I thought
We
what
want to library. Obviously you want to seriously consider the standards, but I think in a couple of instances, it doesn't
I
always
do
make
have one
sense.
question. I noticed that we are adding additional internet capacity. That was in your.
Yeah, right, yeah.
How much what capacity do we currently have? How much are we adding? And are we considering using the Illinois Telecommunication Network backbone instead of a private provider at all? What are the cost differences?
I believe it's going from 10 to 35. Kevin, help me out with
We're bringing in a 50-meg line.
Okay.
And
Is that a
we're split
DS3 or
that.
what are you bringing in?
No, it's a straight Ethernet
Okay.
service. So a large portion of that will go for the public, and we're going to branch off some of it for the staff, to increase our staff. Our staff right now are at 5, and the public is at 10, so we'll be significantly increasing bandwidth. As to answering your question about if we've sought other possibilities, we are under contract, so this is an expansion of the current contract. The contract is out in 2017. So at that point, we would investigate other avenues, certainly. But as it stands right now, we're under a current contract, so we would have to break that contract, which has significant impact financially. If you
50
do that.
megabit, even though it's not very fast by today's standards,
Okay,
particularly for the number of people we have on the environment.
right, and which is growing. That's why we're increasing it, because as we're seeing it, our bandwidth needs jump at any moment's notice, based on who's bringing in their personal devices. So we're seeing that gravitate more and more to wireless, which is making that jump, which in years past, we didn't have that issue, because we didn't have the personal devices that we have now. So it's a dynamic moving target at any one point in time during the day.
Just seems really aiming a little low as it is.
Any other comments, questions?
What about money?
Okay, anyone want to make a motion on this?
I would, I will. I move the application for Illinois Public Library per capita grant for fiscal year 2016 be submitted.
I'll second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention. All right, so items for January. Anything else besides what's on the list? How about the semi-annual review?
Yes,
Is it gonna be done by then?
I'm sure we will
Thank you.
have it done.
Just a little nag.
Hey, did we get it done on time the last time we did it?
Probably, yes. I think she did. Okay, I stand corrected. All right, what else? Anything else? Okay. Public forum? None. Anyone have any announcements other than what's printed here? I think is there an art date? It says TBD.
There is,
Oh.
no, it's January 11th at 6 o'clock. And we've all got the pink sheet here. So if you look in the picture, you can see what looks like a child sitting on a bench with a little boat in the background. So what the students, it's still, their sketch is still in progress, but the top portion, which is the above water portion, will be very realistic, and the below portion will be more cartoony and graphic, and the below water portion is the child's imagination when they read a book, or the children represents their imaginations, while the above the water is the reality. So, we're very
And
excited.
is this a group effort from all
It's
those
a group
students?
effort. But it'll be more than these three here. These three are the ones that are basically the leaders of it.
And I might just add that there's an electronic version of this that went out this afternoon. I would encourage you to open it up, because this isn't, the picture's in color, and it does, yeah,
It doesn't give it justice.
it doesn't give it justice right with black and white, so.
And Kevin, those panels are 4x4s.
I'm over here now.
Those panels are 4x4, so
Okay.
if he didn't get it, I'll send it to him. And if you'd like to attend the January 11th.
Yeah, Ryan's already asked
we'd
me. I'll be
More than
there.
happy to have you there.
Thank you.
Each panel is 4x4,
Mhm.
so it's going to be 20 feet right too.
Yeah, and where this would go is, it's planned to go in the corner of Cocos Cove. When you're standing at the Cocos Cove and looking straight ahead, it's the corner that you see from the doors.
Okay, how about a date for personnel to reschedule?
Any suggestion?
Well, we have committee of the whole on the 5th. I don't know.
I assume it's at 7 o'clock.
Yes, What about the 12th?
Welcome to 2016.
Does that work for everyone?
What did you say? What date?
Tuesday, January 12th? Seven?
This is personnel committee.
Yeah.
Do we have a personnel committee?
Well, it's personnel committee of the whole. Sorry, everybody.
It's to go over.
Yeah,
I know,
it's
it's
to-
just-
yeah.
You're just asking.
I think I thought we abolished all the committees
Yeah.
except our
Yeah,
committee.
sorry, I have to get in the habit of saying that.
And then, do we need a policy for George's policy? Or
That'd be done as part of the commercial, yeah.
That'll
that
be
same
for-
night?
Yeah, we already have those going because nobody wanted to do it over the holiday.
Oh, okay. I just thought we added one tonight.
We're adding one to the list that will be reviewed.
Our next meeting is January 12th.
The personnel meeting, but we have regular committee of the whole
On the 5th.
On the 5th, yeah.
And we
Well,
do a
because
board.
don't you think,
Is that
Noreen is saying, why are we meeting twice? And
Yeah, I
I
was
thought
just
of that
gonna
too, but I
say.
think personnel is pretty long. What do you guys think?
How much is on for the 5th?
Four,
Fair amount.
4 policies.
Yeah, this will make, we had 3,
Including
but
the
this will make
bylaws.
4. And,
We were gonna talk about, a little bit about the budget timeline, we were talking about evaluation criteria for capital projects, we were gonna talk about, I think we could probably use evaluation criteria for capital projects.
initial draft of the strat plan is on there too.
That's the big.
Yeah. So, do you want to add personnel on? It'll be long.
I think we're better off doing 2 meetings, but How long do you think it'll take, is the question?
I don't think personnel takes at least an hour.
At least an hour. I think if we're gonna do it right, it'll take an hour.
Be fresh.
Yeah, and I think it would be better to, my personal feeling would be, I would prefer to do it separately, but if others want to do pile on in that one night, I'll do that. What is your preference?
2. I prefer 2.
Everyone okay with that?
I'm not fine. Either way.
Okay, all right, the 12th it is then. Anything else, other announcements? Anyone want to move to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
I second. All those in favor?